with Propel in PHP, and it's fun. It's fun. I'm finding it fun so far. Before the break, we managed to successfully generate this bunch of XML based solely on the structure of this class. So we define a page table name, and we define some fields here, and then the rest of the code in this main repo creates this lovely bit of XML, which is pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about that. Now what we need to do is we need to load this stuff through Propel in order to generate some kind of schema. It told us to save this as schema.xml. And I'm just going to go back to the docs and see what else it tells us. We need to define another thing. Something like this, I'm guessing. So I'll take that and I'll create a PHP config file. I'll just call it config for lack of a better name. And so connections is just SilverShift, I guess. Class name, that seems fine. I'll change this to domain name, to IP address, because it didn't like it previously when I did localhost. Let's do some root and no password, because that's how I roll. Default connections, SilverShift. And generator, I guess. Does that work? Now, how do I run something like this? I'm just going to go to the configuration reference, close all this other stuff, and see if there's a way to I see, I need to define this as well, I think. Wait, not that. That? Oh, this isn't actually config, this should be propel.php. Okay, so that makes sense. Propel SQL build. If I run that, what happens? Probably nothing, because Propel is probably, oh, what did I do? Vendor bin Propel SQL build. Cannot map unknown Propel type text to native database type. That's promising. That's really promising. Let's have a look at this. What are the types? Column element, type, varchar. Why won't you let me inspect that? This is pretty weird how this doesn't actually have scrolling on it. Kind of sucks. Oh my gosh, look at this formatting. Okay, so which one are we looking for here? Long varchar. Is this what we want? Is blob what we want? It's kind of difficult to know. Blob. Blob. Fixed binary data, default native type, config convert. That's not what I want to do. Don't need to know about logging. Propel SQL insert. What has that done? Has that done it? Tell me that's done it. Ooh, I'm so excited. SilverShift. Page. That's done it. We have an auto number field. We have title and content. We've basically gone from, oh, this is so exciting. We've basically gone from this definition just as a subclass of data object to having a database table with a few console commands generating some interstitial XML. Now this means that we can abstract the console commands so that we run Propel stuff. And in fact, we can probably do Propel to get help for what this supports. So something like SQL build help config directory. So if we were doing this as a framework, we could say, use this config directory as just like a caching or a temporary directory, generate schema.xml there, schema directory, output directory. This is all awesome. Table prefixing. This is great. What are the help options for insert? Config directory. This is fantastic. In our ORM code, when we create an instance of this stuff, we can say, okay, now this we need to glue together into a console command. But here we can say, in this console command as an argument to it, you have to specify a directory to push the stuff to, or it's going to default to a directory relative to where this console command is. In that caching directory, create an XML file called schema, and then execute Propel SQL build and Propel SQL insert on that same directory. So it'll get this map and it'll insert it into the database. What else can we do with this? Once we have this here, what else can we do? Basic CRUD. Now, the trouble with this is that I think this expects us to create other things. I think it expects us to create models. What is the command for that? Model build. What does this do for us? Generated classes, page. Base, page. So this is why it tells us when we're setting up a project that we need to add the generated classes folder to our class map. Because what it's telling us is that we need to load this stuff. And the trouble with this is that now we have two separate page classes. We have one here, page, and we have one here. And it expects us to load this stuff here. Now, I'm not sure exactly how to reconcile that, what I should be doing about that, because I want the functionality available here, but I also want people to be able to define functionality here, and I want them both to work. How do I reconcile that? Maybe what I need to do is I need to load this into a separate namespace. What happens if I do model build help? What if I say target package is generated? What does that do? Nothing. I want to put this in a namespace of its own. Query inheritance stub class. Query stub class. I could load in different generator classes to generate these files, but I don't particularly want to do that. Disable namespace auto packaging. What if we want to, let's look through the docs here quickly. Let's see. Configuration. Is there a way to override this? Is there a way to say prefix with a certain namespace or a certain class name? That's not what I want. It's Propel 1. Namespace auto package. If you use namespaces in your schemas, this setting tells Propel to use namespace attributes for the package. Consequently, namespace attribute will be stipulated the subdirectory in which the model class gets generated. Blah, blah, blah. Namespace map. Map. Auto namespace, auto prefix. Oh, of course. Of course. I can just change the name for the stuff. I'm so silly. So silly. If I come back here and I say PHP name, I already give this name, right? Well, now I can say well, get name. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Generation. I can do this. Okay, so come back here and run index and then run model build. Oh, but without that nonsense at the end. Model build. There we go. This is generic, this is generic, this is generic. Those can get deleted. This is generic, so that can get deleted. Page name generation. If I go to index and or in fact not index, page, and I say namespace foo, and then I run this again. Oops, problem is subclass, because when I get back to index, I don't use this foo. That should work. Model build. And now I have foo. Page generation. That's interesting. That's interesting. I wonder why it does that. Okay, but basically, you see what I'm getting at here, right? I mean, hopefully you see what I'm getting at here. Let me come back here and let me unnamespace this, and let me unnamespace this, and delete this generated class nonsense, and run this generator one more time. Index, model build. Generated classes. Now I have this page generation class. It is named slightly differently, and I can even give this a unique index that's only available to the page data object. And I can create instances of this within my page data object, given its unique ID, and I can proxy method calls from here to here. So that answers that question. I can totally build this thing on Propel. I think that's where I call it for tonight. I've had so much fun experimenting with Propel and trying to get this code working, and I hope you've learned something or seen something that interests you. Definitely check out Propel because it is a big bucket of awesome. Check out SilverStripe for really rapid application development. If you want to see more PHP streaming or JavaScript streaming, check out, follow me on Twitter at assertchris. Twitter. assertchris. Or twitch.tv, assertchris. And you can find out, I'll tweet about streams like this so you can find out when they're happening. And also, if you follow me on Twitch, then you'll get emails when the streams go live, so you can see that stuff happen as it does as well. I also have archives, which are linked below the video player in Twitch. So go check that stuff out if you'd like to see older screencasts that I've done. But this is me for tonight. Have an awesome evening and a great day tomorrow, and I'm going to go. So, bye.